Hello YouTube, welcome to the next project. Can this thing be repaired? I have epoxy. I might have to paint it, but I'd like to put it together and fix it and leave it the same color. So you can see that it was cracked but been repaired. So the tip has been modified. I don't really mind because my idea is if I could find a carriage bolt, I've drilled down through before to put a carriage bolt in here so you can pound on them. So this doesn't happen. You like how I did that? Like someone's getting scolded. Imagine the boss finding this on the job site. Who in the did this to my screwdriver? This is a government issue. I took pictures. See there where it says GOV? VACO, government. Okay. Now go around over here and it says Ops. Ops, I don't know if that just scratches it, but I swear that's DC. Somebody out there know? When I was in the Army, we had numbers like WOHOAO, blah, 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 then your battalion unit, and it was quite a bit of stamp on something. It had like WHO, whatever. Back in the late 70s, early 80s. So, here we go. First, we're going to heat this up and get this out of here. Oh, and a quick, I'll be right back to show you something real quick. I'll give you a sneak preview. Okay, we got, see where we had it hot, and we used a really low flame. I mean, we was right up close to that plastic with a nozzle, shooting as close to the metal as we can. Now what we're going to do is take a hair dryer. I should have grabbed a pair of channel lock. I think I'll just use my vise. We're going to get that hot with a hair dryer and get that squeezed back together. We can always spread it to put the epoxy in. Now that epoxy I have doesn't really work well on plastic. So it will work pretty good in all slathered here with a bit epoxy to it and everything, but it's not the greatest stuff. But you see where that melted, that round ball part? That was to prevent it from being driven in. See, that's how hot I had it. Okay, let's get to work. We'll come back after we've got this squeezed together if we can. Well, here's our progress so far. I went ahead and broke this off the rest of the way. Now I've taken a 3/8 bit, went down here, and I've leaned it up where it really rips into this because I'm trying to make this thinner on the back side so this side will close better. I think you know what I mean. So I've been getting there with X-Acto knives. I had the drill bit shoved up that way, you know, where it's grinding towards it. And I went past the crack. So this part won't be too hard to put in there. I'm just hoping the clear epoxy will go in there and look good enough. But it's just easy to break that off. There was only, by the time I got done playing it, there's only about this much holding it. And this is rubbery. This is not hard plastic like will snap. It's rubbery. I mean, it will, I don't know if I can do it. When it was hot with the hair dryer, hey man, it was pretty rubbery. I hate to heat that with the hair dryer. What I did is I heated it real hot with the hair dryer and I clammed it in the vise. And that did close it up more. But it would not close this gap right in here. Let me stop. I'll put the piece together real quick and show you what my main problem is. Right here. See the white is? If I can get this to squeeze down all the way, I don't think I'm going to get the epoxy to hold it though. I'm going to heat it with a hair dryer, and I can grab each side of this with my vice grips. You know, like this, and pinch it. We're not really worrying about any grooves or gouges. This thing's shot anyway, so let's try that. Let's try to get it real hot and then clamp it together for a while and see if it stays that way. Because like I said, the epoxy's not going to really hold that together if it's under pressure. It'll help glue it and seal it. I trust it'll hold this part on as long as the screwdriver's in there. Another thing, I don't know which way this screwdriver was in there. It was so hard to tell which way were the slots. So we may be remaking that before we glue it all together. Or just heating this with a torch and running in there a couple times real quick. You gotta be careful that it'll stick in there. That stuff cools down quicker than what you think. So back to work. So this is not a real big long boring video. You know, it might be interesting. It's something to do. It's one of the last screwdrivers I got left. The only one left is one with a wooden handle that's totally destroyed. I'll show it. It is. I do not want to tackle it, but I may do something with it. Okay, we did some grinding and holes poked and everything. This was done by squeezing it with my vice grips, heating this up with my new torch lighter, and just poking holes in there and melting it together. I mean, I actually shoved holes into it. And it's holding so far. We're not going to epoxy this side. That's where the gap is. We're going to try to get this glued in here. Turn so you can see it better. We want all this glued. This and down this side, and we'll fill this side in later. So here we go. Wish me luck. See all the grinding and gouging and to rough it up to try to get the epoxy to hold. We're going to put extra hardener. That's our bad habit of doing that because you only got 5 minutes out of epoxy. But we will put extra hardener to get this stuff to bite in there and cure quick. So stay tuned. Okay, we got this epoxy. We took a picture. We got tape in there so it, it can't run all the way through. You know what I mean? And we overfilled it. But we may have to put a second coat. And we did put some over top of this. So we went around places. But this might end up being a painted handle. We will find out by the time we're done cleaning on it. But it's probably just going to get painted. There you go. We'll let this cure and we'll be back after we clean it up and do a little sanding. Well, what do you think so far? We're still not done sanding. We're going to have to put clear coat over this because you're never going to get that white. Here's that crack where I welded together by poking this hot tool in. Here's that big piece that was broke out. Here's where the big gap was. You came around here. I have to look over the camera, bear with me. There, can you see it? Get rid of that so don't shut. That's where it was broke there. Piece goes all the way back up in through here. And this is crooked. Really crooked. This has to be sanded smooth. This is not straight at all. So, let's get back to work. We'll keep going and we'll see what we end up with. We couldn't save that where it said ops. But we're going to do our best to save this. So, we may put some Sharpie marker in there so that it shows up black. But we're going to clean it out. But it's break time for me. Well, what do you think? There's a lot of deep sanding. I'd run on a fine sandpaper, and that's just a quick coat of real thin clear. But is this good enough for a working screwdriver? And that hole is not drilled straight there. I tried making it straight. I will make the shaft straighter one way or another. Because this was all crooked. I had to grind on it. And here we go. Here's the broken part. This is where it had most epoxy at, the big gap. It broke out, and it came down around there. It's good enough for a working screwdriver. I could spend, if it was a different screwdriver handle, I'd put the bolt in there where you can hit it with a hammer and make a pounding tool again. So you can pound on it some more without breaking it, but did my best on that, and I'm not sure I'm guessing it was 1 and 2, and I'm positive that's a 3. And I'm 90% sure that was a 4, and as I was digging on it, it looks like a 4. But I just had to keep that where it says that government issue. We lost that other part. You'll see it in the pictures. Look for the pictures at the end of how I did this. This has been an all-day project. I probably have 5 hours into this, at least. There you go. We had enough. We are out of here. We're going to put this in the computer, and we might upload it tonight. It is Thursday. It may get uploaded. You may be watching this Thursday evening. We're gone. We're out of here.